How are you hardcore boxing fans out there? How you doing? Let's see from Porky's Corner. Right. Let's cancel that Dr. Pepper in it. Let's go through a few questions and see what we can come up with. I don't know whether to call this Porky's weekly blast or a Porky old school blast, because I've been itching to get in front of the camera for about 3 weeks now. Get it out of the system, but I better save it all up. All right. These are just some of the things that I jotted down while I was wasting away in an hospital bed or in bed at home. I've got 65 mil out me groin, had to drain it out. 65 mil of poison, which I've been carrying around since October from the stomach operation in Turkey, but we've got it out now, so that's good, isn't it? It's a case of getting my band dealt with 9 2 weeks. Be good as new then, age 52. So, okie doke. Right, IFL must be struggling really for views. They're giving John Ryder 15, 16 minutes airtime. I mean, John Ryder, the man spoke about 27 words in his whole boxing career in interviews. So IFL hanging out the back of John Ryder for views tells you that they're behind the door. That big guy, you know, that Thor, he keeps popping up every now and then, doesn't he? Saying he's going to do this and he's going to do that. You know, he's always going to knock somebody out, or I know a few people around here, a few boxing trainers are always going to do that. They never do nothing, just talk about it. And that's that Thor, isn't it, really? I mean, I don't see him doing anything. He's on about turning pro. What's all that about? What's he going to do, him? Thor. If he turned pro as a boxer, his name would be good for one thing, wouldn't it? Getting in the ring and Thoring, you know, like a melt. I don't want to see stuff like that. Thor against that big numpty Eddie Hall, who came down to Peter Fury's gym a couple of years ago in Bolton. And thought he was a big tough guy, curled a big load of weight and he crushed a chair and all this and ripped his telephone book up, and then Huey punched him all over with a jab. He couldn't handle it, tried to get out at ring. It's a true story. See, Julius Francis piped up. I know it's a bit old news now, but we're playing catch up, aren't we? Julius Francis piped up. Big fat doorman. They punched some guy, didn't he? So he got a big, massive heavyweight and punched this little featherweight guy, knocked him out. Well done. But that's the problem, isn't it, with doormen carrying off like that. You're not supposed to carry off like that. Not that the guy didn't deserve it, he did. He went about it in the wrong way, and now you're saying you'll fight Mike Tyson again. Like the first one wasn't conclusive. Hey, get a grip of yourself, Julius Francis. The first fight wasn't conclusive enough. He put you to kip. You sold advertising space on the soles of your trainers or your boxing boots, whatever you want to call them. You should be embarrassed. You knew you were going to get put to kip. That's why you sold space on your shoes. And now you're coming back to a begging bowl because you've knocked some 8-stoner out. Hey, grip yourself, man. Go back to working on door. That's all you're good for. You could box eggs when you boxed. People coming at it at this day and age, at his age, thinking that this is just ring, dial 901 or something for boxing and just dial a free load of cash. Are you going to do a David A on us? I'm just coming back because I feel like it. No, you're not, Julius Francis. You're not. Go back to being a doorman. That's what you are, a doorman. Why are IFL wheeling out Johnny Nelson? It's not even his proper name. Evanson Ranny Nelson. That's his name. That's his proper name. There isn't a Johnny in his name. There isn't a J in his name. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. It's not even his name. Coming out saying Wilder's not going to come back. Like you know that, Johnny. You don't know that. Fury laid terms down to fight Big Meech, saying him and Big Meech could have a possible trilogy. Well, how many years would that be over though, Fury? would that be over about 7 years or something, 3 fights? Jesus. Oh, Big Meech against Fury. They're still talking that, aren't they? Hey, it's 10 years since Olympics and they're still talking about Big Meech against Fury. Hey, it's 14 years since Wilder won his medal in Olympics. 14 years. And he's still not fought Joshua. And Joshua a medalist in Olympics after Wilder. So that tells you that they don't want to fight. Dave Caldwell, aka Penfold. You know, it's over 11 months since the original video went out when I interviewed them boxers about Penfold. Over 11 months, and he hadn't come out and said a word. Not a legal letter, not no. Why's that? Anybody accuse me of that? I'll be all over him like a rash. Be a lawyer. That's how you deal with something like that. You don't just say no and hope it goes away. A bit like Danny Flex and things like that don't go away. They linger. They hang around like a bad smell. You know, like Iron Man, David Diamante. Iron Man, hanging around boxing, like a bad smell. A white man running around with dreads. You couldn't make that up, could you? If I did that, if I were running around with dreads, I'd get hammered, wouldn't I? So Caldwell, you've plenty to say yet again, haven't you? On Channel 5. Get in there. What a shot. Plenty to say on Channel 5, Caldwell, haven't you? A note to say any other time, have you? Hey, come out and make a statement, Dave Caldwell, because I'll be interviewing them lads again soon. Once they finish tiling that gym, I'll be going up there to interview them again. It'll be a bit more detailed this time. Just so you know that I haven't forgot about you, Penfold. You're a luxury to me at the moment, what I've got lined up this month. A luxury. Eubank and Ben, what do I think about it? Obviously, the son's fighting. I think it's a cash grab. I think Conor Ben's a dick. You don't want to fight anybody with a pulse. They don't put him in with anybody in case he gets beat. He's in the Tommy Fury, who needs him club kind of thing at the moment, isn't it? It's like Tommy Fury, they don't put him in with anybody now, do they? Unless it's a mega money fight, because he'd get beat. Tommy Fury in an eliminator for an area belt in the UK gets beat. You don't even make 175. You can't make 175. So he'd have to fight at cruiserweight if you're going to win a belt, and so it's not going to happen. So he won't win a belt. So I don't have to worry about that. But we worry about the Conor Ben fight and Eubank. That's a dangerous fight for Conor Ben. If Eubank gets his own way in that fight and he has to pay a fine and all this because of rehydration or whatever, and he still flogs Conor Ben, is Conor Ben gonna be happy about being flogged? He'll get paid, won't he? And sometimes money makes you greedy and makes you blind to towards what's going to happen. It's a very dangerous fight. Like I've said before, and I've said it again, we have weight divisions for a reason. Fighters are not superheroes, are they? Well, they're not, are they? I saw Robin Reed at 12 stone spar Yui at 18 stone. Before they got in the ring, I thought, oh, can't be much difference in this, super middle and heavyweight. There was massive difference, massive. You know, Yui's just brushing him. It was like swatting him, honestly. I don't see that happening with Conor Benn and Eubank, but I don't see it being much difference. If Eubank opens up on him, he'll make a mess of him. He'll make a mess of him, honestly. He will make a mess of him. He's only a little guy, Conor Benn. He's only my height, isn't he? Probably heavier than me. Fighters are not superheroes. And if we have a body on the slab soon, what's going to happen then? Is everybody going to start paying a bit of interest in boxing then? Is that what will happen? Have a body on the slab? Because it'll be under scrutiny more than ever, won't it, boxing? But that's where it's heading at the moment. That's where it's heading. You know what I mean? So that's what I think, anyway. All right. Will the fathers be on good money though? No, Eubank and Ben. Will the dads get paid out of it? I'm not so sure, but they're setting a dangerous precedence with this. Because who is it who keeps saying I ain't got a microphone? What's that? I just remembered. You know, they're setting a dangerous precedence with this fight because it could open floodgates, couldn't it, for other fighters? Say, well, that welterweight fought that super middle, stroke middle. Why can't my lightweight fight that middle? We could end up with loads of crossover fights and people getting hurt, and that's what we don't want, isn't it? That's what we don't want. Eubanks and Ben family on undercard. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. In there, there's a few Bens and Eubanks in weight classes. I don't know. But they say boxing's booming and that the game's changed and all this. Don't they? Eddie Hearn keeps coming out with it and that. But we're going back to fights like this. We're digging fights up like this. Matching welterweights with super middleweights. And one's won a British title, other one's not won anything. And playing dangerous games like this. Nobody's saying a word, are they? None at mainstream media. They're all lapping it up, aren't they? You know what the mainstream media tend to do? They lap it all up. Then when there's like a disaster or something that's what happens, they don't give anything air service, do they? Or they don't say anything, do they? Lip service or whatever they call it. Eubank calling out Jake Paul. Jake Paul calling out Canelo. Are our fighters now bored of the traditional route and are just now wanting to be famous and pick up trinket belts? Maybe that's all boxers want to do now. Pick up trinket belts and be known as a boxer. Get on Instagram and a couple of holders under buy, and you think you've made it, don't you? A couple of sponsors. But when's anybody gonna start producing CVs like Clinton Woods, Carl Froch, and people like that? Amir Khan, when we're gonna start seeing some proper CVs, some proper fights, instead of all this stop-start crap. Like Billy Joe Saunders has been making a comeback on it for 3 months. Still fat as a pig. Still haven't got a date. But yeah, he's been making comebacks. And when is he going to start? When's he going to have a good win on his record, Billy Joe? Aye. Well, when's he going to have a good win on his record? What's his best win? What's Billy Joe's 3 best wins? I don't know. Do you know great fighters? Great fighters always have something to prove, don't they? In my opinion, they always have something to prove, great fighters. You know, your Roy Jones, he should have had Olympic gold. So he had something to prove. Came back, won everything, didn't he? Over 4 divisions, 66 and 9. Mayweather were ripped off with his medal, wasn't he? Give him a bronze, he should have had a gold. Or should have fought for gold. He ended up 50 and 0, beating 20 world champions. 21 if you count McGregor, but he wasn't a champion in boxing, wasn't he? Over 5 weight divisions, multi belts. Mayweather had some to prove, didn't he? And never been beat. Look at that one little piece of a Yorkie on full. I used to get these years ago. I used to shove them in, ciders, and then just let them melt in my mouth. Now one little piece and done in. Who let Kirtland Lang go AWOL? That's what I want to know. I mean, Kirtland Lang beat Roberto Girandini in Detroit years ago. Who let him go AWOL after doing that? Mickey Duff for going off his rocker. Hey? I bet Mickey Duff for going off his rocker. Unbelievable. Who's the next UK superstar? Well, it's not that Ben Whittaker. I've seen him at weekend. Oh, crossbar. All that showboating and all that. He's not for me, that Ben Whittaker. Ben Whittaker, I think you're a dick. All right, that's just my opinion. I think you're a dick. I don't like you. You're gonna have to change to get into my good books. You're behaving like James DeGale did on his debut. Everybody just went straight off him straight away. Just be yourself. You know what I mean? Just be yourself. Everybody trying to be different. So Billy Joe Saunders or Bully Joe Saunders? Is it over? Rover. Is it over for Billy Joe? I think it is, yeah. I think it's over for him. If you haven't got the if you haven't got the determination to train and stuff like that, you're in the wrong game, you'll get hurt. You'll get hurt. Crawford against Errol Spence. They're dragging their asses on this, aren't they? When's it going to happen? We need to know who the best welterweight in the world is. Ben and Eubank, that's dragging on a bit, isn't it? Did anybody see Johnny Nelson coming out in week saying that he outboxes Usyk if they fought at the peaks? No. Anybody see Josh Kelly fight at weekend? Yeah. 12-1-1 now, Josh. Good luck to him, but I don't think he wins the world title, not at 154. I think he could challenge for one, but I think he'd be beaten comprehensively. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Eddie Hearn's been making some crazy statements lately, hasn't he? Like when AJ beats Usyk, he's going to be a 3-time champion like Ali, and he'll be classed as an all-time great. Look, Joshua will never be classed as an all-time great, Eddie. Get it out of your head. He's a manufactured fighter. He's had gifts because of how he looks, how his physique is, and the story that he's got. He manufactured everything. It's probably the biggest con since the Great Train Robbery in this country. That's what I think. If Jake Paul would have beaten that guy this week, Rahman, WBC was saying they were going to give him a top 15 ranking. Couldn't make that up, could you? You couldn't make that up. Danny Flexen trying to get into Sonny Edwards' sister. What's all that about? Well, you keep it professional, Danny. Keep it professional. Start messing around with fighters' sisters and stuff like that, or they'll break loose. It'd be a good idea. If that were my sister, you would have got hammered. Being my brother, but we haven't got a sister, so you're lucky. But it's my, if it were my daughter, it'd be Ellen. It'd be Ellen. I won't want you sniffing around her. It's only a young lass, and she's Sonny's sister. She. I don't know, but grow up, Danny Flex, and don't be a gimp all your life. Sam Jones, Johnny Nelson. You've probably seen video I did earlier. Oh, Sam Jones. He may have a broken ankle, but Sam Jones has arrived to watch Lisa Whiteside, no relation to Norman, have her fight here on Channel 5, even though he's got a broken ankle. Wild horses couldn't keep Sam Jones away. Johnny Nelson outboxing. Who said? What's happened to you, Johnny? What's happened to you? I don't know, but it is what it is, isn't it? Calla Sowland, I think we mentioned this. Probably wants a video on its own. Calla. All these fighters on these Channel 5 shows, Calla, are Prebellum fighters. So are you the front man for Prebellum now, which they're saying, what front for MTK? Basically, Calla, are you fronting for Kinahan Mob? Yes or no? Just answer the question. If you don't answer the question on your social media, I want all boxing fans to terrorise Calla Sowland and Channel 5 and just ask them if they're fronting for Prebellum. Tag Prebellum in as well. Cause loads of bollocks. That's what we need to do. I was impressed with that interview Bricktop did the other day when they were asking him about people who were leaving Eddie Earn and that he was going like that, wasn't he? And you know, we were doing shoulder roll, and I think that Frank Warren, aka Bricktop, I think that your shoulder roll, Frank, should be taught in schools. That's what I think, anyway. But it is what it is. But will anybody ask Calla Sowland the questions about Prebellum, MTK Global, and Daniel Kinnan and Channel 5? Is he fronting for the mob like Mo Green? I'm Mo Green! I'm Mo Green! With Mo Green in Godfather 2. I'm Mo Green! Mo Green. But it is what it is. I'm going to save that one. I don't know if that's worth a video on its own. Yeah, that's probably worth a couple of videos on its own, that one. No, that's about it, really. That's about it. There's loads happening at the moment in the sport of boxing. Well, loads of things are happening, but it's just talking at the moment. What we've got is a load of old men that tell lies and a load of wannabes that want to be like them, want to tell lies and get in with them and promise fans fights that we can't get us. And it's getting to a stage where we're fed up in it now. Aaron and Warren are not going to work together. Well, they put 8 or 9 fights on in 12 years, so they're not going to work together, are they? Aaron's not going to work with Dennis, although Dennis might think he is. I personally don't think he'll work with him. No, Dennis had Jamie McDonald stripped, didn't he, by IBF. Eddie Earn will remember that. We'll remember what he said when it happened, don't we? And, you know, what's it been? 7, 8 years, something. I'm sure that Eddie forgot about that. But, you know, good luck to Dennis trying to get Anna Rankin in with Terry Harper. If I were you, Dennis, I'd tell Eddie that you want options. If you put in Anna Rankin in with Terry Harper, you want options, and the options are you want Cash Ali on a couple of slots. Just get that wrote into the contract and get Cash Ali a fight in America and get him cashed out before he gets beat, Dennis, and get him some money. That's what you need to be doing. Okie dokie. Peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. Don't have nightmares. That includes you, Dave Allen. Don't you be having any nightmares over my videos. You little moaning mini. Stop complaining about Pokey's Corner, Dave Allen. Get out of bed and get your run done. All right. Complaining. Jesus. Peace out.